Hi, this is Gordon Patterson. I thought I'd prepare a little help you in getting organized and thinking about the exam that's coming up on next Thursday. First, just a reminder, we are not going to have class on Tuesday. We'll have class again on Thursday when we take up the examination. I hope that the exam doesn't prove too difficult for you and that you'll work your way through the study guide. As I told you, I'll identify in a kind of matching format 20 different terms, which you'll then be given a link to possible solutions for. Then there'll be some short answer questions, and then you'll have two groups of essay questions to choose from. Let's just take a few moments and make a very kind of quick review of the study guide that I gave you. You'll find the study guide, of course, on Angel. What I did is try to break up the course into the material that we've covered together. And as you know, we've moved through this course in a rather atypical way for a history class. We've been talking about the ancient world, but simultaneously through Rob Gifford's China Road, we've been talking about things that happen in the present. I think that creates a dynamic kind of way in which to move this semester towards a better understanding of China. Let's, though, in this review, to speak about it chronologically. We began talking about early Chinese history, and if you recall, the very first day I talked about the distinctive geographical features of China, the two major rivers, the Yellow and the Yangtze, the different parts of China. Patricia Ebry does a good job in her opening pages talking about that. Note what she has to tell you about the Sage Kings and their early role in defining the character of Chinese life. Do pay attention to things like the ancestor box, which talks about the oracle bones and the early information that gives us about Chinese history. The early dynasties, the Shah dynasty, the Shang dynasty, the way in which in those dynasties we find evidence of the emergence of families and individuals, kings, who are of a special importance because of their ability to communicate with the ancestor world. We talked about the appearance of the Zhou dynasty, and you should remember the story about King Wu and King Wen. King Wen, the word Wen means culture, and Wu means martial arts. And the famous speech that King Wu supposedly gave upon crossing the river, in which he talked about how the Shang kings had been good, but they lost the mandate of heaven, the Tian Ming. The filiality that was shown by the Duke of Zhou, who guided the youthful leader of the successor to King Wu through his youth, and then retired to the state of Lu, which provided a kind of example of filiality. We talked then about the different phases of the Zhou dynasty, the spring and autumn period, the Warring States period. You recall I told you about that concept of the axial age, which Karl Jaspers spoke of how around 500 this array of figures, the Buddha, Socrates, Zoroaster, and of course Confucius and Lao Tzu, offer core premises for different civilizations. We spent some length in our discussion of Confucianism. Go to that website, that link that I provided you under the Confucius link, which talks about the core relationships in Confucianism, the ideas of Sha, filiality, Ren, human-heartedness, Li, ritual, how those things form a conception of the state and the conception of the way in which harmony should be the goal of individuals. We talked also about Taoism recently and the core ideas in the Taoist Tao Te Ching, the idea of Tao itself as we discussed in class, the way, as if it were a single path, and then a way, such as one of you pointed out, a way of playing the guitar. There is a way to play, but some play it differently. As the example that was given, Jimi Hendrix played the guitar in a way unlike anyone else, and he was a consummate Tao master of the guitar. We talked about legalism last week, legalism representing that idea of punishments and rewards and its close connection to the Jin dynasty. In talking about the Jin dynasty, I told you about its ability to, in the zero-sum game, eliminate the other states, and then the development of a crisis within it, which led to the rise of the Han dynasty, which we most recently discovered Liu Bang, his victory, and then what was to be of critical importance, the emergence of the Han synthesis under the Emperor Wu Di, which combined Taoism, Confucianism, and legalism. We ended that discussion with when Wu Di had passed away in the discussion of the debate over salt and iron. There won't be any questions, so it's on the study guide about the age of division. We'll take that up next time after the exam. On the reverse side of the study guide, I presented you some questions which you can walk your way through. I think all of those things are discussed. Go down to the ancient materials. You'll see that in core beliefs, I point you towards the ancestor worship, a little bit about Confucianism and Lao Tzu. All of those materials are there. In short, I think you're prepared if you review the Ibri book. If you read through her opening chapters, 2 copies of it are on reserve in the library. Look at your notes. Look at Rob Gifford's The Road. And look at the articles I gave you in class and handouts. They'll be of help too. You're going to do fine on this exam. I want you to do fine. Today is the 31st of January. Happy New Year. I received an email from a colleague, a good friend of mine, Professor Niuka at Peking University. He wished me a Happy New Year and told me to convey to my students a Happy New Year from Beijing. So, Happy Year of the Horse. I'll see you on Thursday. Thanks so much for being my students. Look forward to seeing you.